Good evening. It's time for me to read out from one of my favorite writers, uh, a favorite of many of you, I'm sure, and a favorite of the world as such, William Shakespeare. I have read a lot of his plays and I enjoyed reading many of them. But the best part that I enjoyed was Mark Antony's speech in Julius Caesar. I have never forgotten that speech. I read it in school for the first time, and after that, I became an admirer of the way Mark Antony speaks, the words he uses, and how he sways an entire mob from one extreme to the other. The power of mob oratory has never been displayed to such great extent as it has been by the pen of the great Shakespeare. Mark Antony's speech, as you know, and all of you have heard it, of course, it has been read by lots and lots of people, and you find recordings of it on YouTube. So many recordings by so many different people, by famous actors, by famous theatre actors, film actors, and by others as well. Well, I'm small fry in front of all of them, but it's been my dream. I have to read out this speech, and today I'm going to fulfill that dream, or try to fulfill that dream. I hope I do justice to it. Of course, I can't. It's not possible to do justice to this speech, not for me at least, but I'll try whatever little I can do. So I'm not going to enact the speech, I'm just going to read it out and try my best to bring out the effect of the words. So here's Mark Antony speaking in front of the crowd which had gathered there to listen to Brutus first, who had come with the body of Julius Caesar, or rather Mark Antony comes out with the body of Julius Caesar. Brutus had earlier told the crowd about why he and the others had found it necessary to assassinate or kill Julius Caesar, and why it had been necessary for the future of Rome, for the future of Roman democracy, to get rid of Julius Caesar. After listening to Brutus's short but very effective speech, Mark Antony has a great job on his hands. He has a crowd in front of him which is absolutely against Julius Caesar and very, very happy at the thought of having finally got rid of a very ambitious dictator. And they have been fully satisfied by Brutus, and they do not want to listen to a single word of praise in defense of Julius Caesar. Mark Antony, a very close friend of Julius Caesar, he knows that he has a very tough job at hand, and he has already decided in his mind that he wants to take revenge on the people who killed his friend. And how he goes about it is what this speech is all about. One speech of his changes the entire mood of the people and leads to revolution and war against Brutus and his associates. So let me start now. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honourable man, so are they all honourable men, come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure he is an honourable man. I speak not to disapprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me, my heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. A very clever stratagem adopted by Antony here. He wants time to judge what reaction his words have had on the crowd so far. And the next few lines are about what the people are talking amongst themselves, and you can sense that there is a slight change taking place. After a slight pause, Antony comes back again. But yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honourable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I will wrong such honourable men. Yet here's a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. It's his will. Let but the common hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read, and they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. Yea, beggar, hear of him for memory, and dying mention it in their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. Now the people's curiosity has been raised, and everybody starts shouting with the will, we'll hear the will, we'll hear the will. So Antony knows he has won half the battle, and here he goes again. Have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. It's not meat. You know how Caesar loved you. You're not wood. You're not stones, but men. And being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you. It will make you mad. It's good you know not that you are his heirs. For if you should, oh, what would come of it? Now, these words add fuel to the fire, and everybody starts shouting, "We will hear the will." Antony has won 75% of the battle. Will you be patient? Will you stay a while? I have overshot myself to tell you of it. I fear I wrong the honorable men whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it. After when Antony says these words, the people again start shouting that read the will, the will, the will. Well, you will compel me then to read the will? Then make a ring about the corpse of Caesar and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend? And will you give me leave? So he's standing on a pulpit and he has to come down the stairs to reach the body of Caesar. So everybody gives him way and he reaches Caesar's body. If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. It was on a summer's evening in his tent. That day he overcame the Nevi. Look, in this place ran Cassius's dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed, and as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it, as rushing out of doors to be resolved if Brutus so unkindly knocked on no. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all. For when the noble Caesar saw him stab, ingratitude more strong than traitor's arms quite vanquished him. Then burst his mighty heart, and in his mantle, muffling up his face, even at the base of Pompey's statue, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. Oh, what a fall that was, my countrymen! Then I and you and all of us fell down, whilst bloody treason flourished over us. Oh, now you weep, and I perceive you feel the dint of pity. These are gracious drops, kind souls. What weep you when you but behold our Caesar's vesture wounded? Look you here, here is himself, marred as you see with traitors. Now the people are filled with pain and they started calling Brutus and his associates traitors, villains, etc. And they are out to seek revenge. Antony has, of course, more to say. Good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you up. It is such a sudden flood of mutiny that they that have done this deed are honourable. What private griefs they have, alas, I know not. I know not that made them do it. They are wise and honourable, and will no doubt with reasons answer you. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I am no auditor, as Brutus is, But as you know me all, a plain, blunt man, that love my friend. And that they know full well that gave me public leave to speak of him. For I have neither wit nor words, nor worth, action nor utterance, nor the power of speech to stir men's blood. I only speak right on. I tell you that which you yourselves do know. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor dumb mouths, and bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus and Brutus Antony, there were an Antony would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. Now these words now further inflame the crowd, and they're saying, we'll burn the house of Brutus, we'll do this, we'll do that. And Antony has more to say. Hear me, countrymen, hear me speak. Why, friends, you go to, do you know not what? Wherein hath Caesar thus deserved your love? Alas, you know not. I must tell you then, you have forgot the will I told you of. Oh, most true, the will, the will, the will. Everybody says, of course, they have not heard the will as yet. Here is the will, and under Caesar's seal, to every Roman citizen he gives to every several man 75 drachmas. Moreover, he hath left you all his walks, his private arbours, and new planted orchards on this side of the Tiber. He hath left them you and to your heirs for ever common pleasures, to walk abroad and recreate yourselves. Here was a Caesar. When comes such another? So everybody says, never, never, and Caesar never. Take up the body, go catch fire, plug down benches, plug down forms, and all that. And Antony is satisfied. He speaks to himself and says, now let it work. Mischief, thou art afoot. Take thou what course thou wilt. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure reading this speech. I love it. I would love to read it again and again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. William Shakespeare, for giving us this classic speech. Thank you very much.